The plan is to fill all these voids. If I can fill all these voids with paper and then tape off the back, I'm going to try some of this foam stuff. Sealer foam, just to fill in these areas here. Okay, all I'm doing is wadding up paper, stuffing them in these cavities, that's the right word, cavities, and just kind of putting a piece of tape there just to hold it in place. Not some kind of permanent thing, although it'll probably just stay on there. So just shove them in there, keep wadding it up, fill it up. That's where we're going. All right, I have all the cavities filled with paper and some support tape just to kind of hold this in place temporarily. Up here, I'm making a fence. So anything that goes in there just kind of stays in there and doesn't fall off the back. Down is fine, back is not fine. So there's a fence. I got a little more to finish up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this loose paper here and stuff it in some of these cracks here just to give it a little extra fill. All right, we're gonna try this crack filler. That sounded sick. I just want to see how it works. Let's try it out. And I have this glove on, so maybe I can smooth it out. I don't know. Let's try it. I've shaken this for a minute. Let's see. Yeah, it's not bad. Look at that. Nice. Look, it works. Well, I find that you can't smooth it around like it's not going to work like plaster or something like that, but at least it fills in something. I don't have to fill it in with plaster. All right, so there's one coat, one can, and that was about $4. But my thought is, this, when it dries, I can probably poke stuff into, so it gives me that extra surface area underneath the plaster. If I want to poke a tree in and I don't get it in the right spot, at least I have something there. And it keeps the plaster from dripping down through there. It looks silly, but I did find that you can't smooth it around like you can like icing. You know what I mean? Plaster. So we're going to fill the rest of these in just a little bit, just enough to give it some surface area. And up here is the other thing. I didn't want to have the plaster just going over top there and this being a void. So I'm filling that in a little bit to give it a little something to sit on. Doreen named this Lumpy Hill when she walked by. Well, this is the next day and all this stuff is dry. And I've used it before for the application it's intended. And it works great for filling in cracks, mouse holes, things like that. But I noticed that you can cut this. Trim it down. So that's what we're gonna do. I do have a bunch of paper, and we got the what's this stuff called? Boy, I can't think this morning. You know what? I was looking for this thing, this phone holder. That's what I call phone holder on the tripod. I was looking all over the shop for it, couldn't find it, and here it's right where I left it yesterday. Plaster of Paris. How did I not remember that? Ding, ding, ding. All right. So I guess this morning I have a pan here. The dollar store was not open yet, so I'm going to have to use that smaller pan there. And I'm going to try to do some of this paper mache. Get this thing covered up. But I'm going to trim it down first. Oh, while I'm at it, I want to show you this shirt before I get it all dirty. So I get this newspaper here, and I'm not going to show you what it is. It's a crap newspaper. Oh man, I got to hold both of these down to do it. I don't want to bring the tripod in just to do that, so you get the idea. And they come out nice. Kind of dirt colored paint. I think that's actually the paint that goes on the building out here, but it's dirt colored enough, and I want to mix a little bit of that in there with the plaster just to give it a little tint, so when I'm cutting through it, it doesn't flake off. And I had that regular DAP plaster of Paris, but I did find these that I think Doreen got them at a yard sale or something like that. Somebody used those up first before I go into those boxes. But basically I'm just gonna add some warm water, plaster mix, get it to a soupy consistency, and just start slinging it on there. Make it easier to get the paper in there. All right, we'll let that dry, probably overnight. Still dripping all over the place, and then I got, of course, this mess to clean up. All right, so that thing is dry now, and I put that up there by myself, believe it or not. It's just kind of sitting up there. I don't have it moved where it needs to be, and I do have to trim a little bit, at least in the back. I didn't cut off the folds from the paper mache, so I'm going to do that. But I wanted to get it up there and see how it looked. Looks like a lumpy hill. And I did permanently put these tracks in. They're glued down, they're wired. Speaking of wiring, I ran the basic wiring from that end to this end, and also ran the DCC bus cable. So I'm able to do some switching over there, just to fool around. That's from the last video. So up next, I'm going to build this transfer table. And really, I'm just going to build a box and screw it in here for now. Once I get it to where I need it and have the track on it, then I can put some hinges so it can just fold down. But that's what I'm going to attempt to do, and then close this video out. All right, so I have these pieces set here temporarily just to make sure. It's a little over a foot wide by 16 inches long, and that'll work perfect right over there. All right, here it is, temporarily screwed in place. I think I'm going to use gator board as the deck, and then I'm just going to figure out what I'm doing. I'm going to play it by ear. I just want something to be able to run around right now, and then I can build something more elaborate later. All right, so about 12.5 by 15 7/8. Glue it down, and then try to find something that will slide on here that I can move left and right, and put some kind of like a channel or a gate where I can just move it back and forth. All right, here's where I'm going with this. I have some basswood bases, and I have this old bridge that I used on a diorama. All right, here's where I'm at. This is the old bridge. These are runners, and this is a 10-minute job. But look at this. You know, it's just to be able to get it from one track to the other temporarily. You know, just line it up and boom, it goes. We're gonna snip that off, and when we figure out where these tracks are, we'll snip off any excess. For now, that'll do.